I'm Savannah,
And I'm Sterling.
and this is In Memoriam, live from the tailgate.
Live from the
Live
tailgate
from the
at
tailgate.
Optimus Park. And today we'll be talking about my friend and cousin, sorta, Vance. We'll get into that. But we're going to be starting a mini-series on memorial tattoos that I have about people that I've lost in my life. And
You've got quite a few.
I've got quite a few. Got, I think, 7 or 8 or something. I counted the other day. Yeah, we're going to start with Vance. That is one of my favorite memorial tattoos. It was done by Sally Swanson at Mansfield Tattoo over in Mansfield. She is super sweet and somehow just gets what I want from words into an image and figures it out. And really appreciate that. She's done plenty of memorial tattoos I have.
Okay, so Vance is really what even got this thing kicking.
Yes.
This whole podcast thing.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the podcast before. We talked about that in episode 1, I think. But yeah, you had to deal with the business side of what I was going through personally with...
Well, I assisted in the arrangements.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, not knowing Vance, I feel like Vance was such a bright, vibrant guy.
Yeah, he was
know.
definitely good time Charlie most of the time. He was like he was the loudest and craziest person at every party or event, and most of the time it was super fun. Sometimes it led me to like having to go pick him up in the middle of the night in some crazy part of town because he was being a little too loud and rambunctious, and he needed to leave places like that quickly. But
Happens to the best of us.
it happens to the best of us, and most of the time he was the life of the party.
So how'd you know Vance?
Well, I guess a good way to start is we've also talked about this, that my dad has sort of intertwined himself with a couple different families in Red Oak.
Well, you
And,
have a lot of chosen family.
Have a lot of chosen family. That's a great way to put it. One of those families being the Gutierrezes. I have never known them to not be in my life. His best friend Rolando and Rolando's son Tyler have always been like very major people in my life. We'd have like weekday dinners with them. I mean, they were just always there. They were if my dad had a brother, it's Rolando Gutierrez. My dad did have a brother that passed away, but if my dad had a living brother, it is Rolando Gutierrez. And it wasn't just Rolando and Tyler. It was the whole Gutierrez family that kind of came along with it. And Rolando has a sister named Michelle, and her oldest son is Vance. And Vance was like 5 years older than me and Tyler, but he never really acted that way. He always hung out with us.
Yeah, I've heard you say that he never made y'all feel like little kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean sometimes, but it's hard to make us feel like little kids when we were 5 years younger and his size or bigger. He was a very small dude. Yeah, he was always real skinny, kind of short when he was younger.
He was handsome.
Yeah, he was he was. Every girl would just, I mean,
Big
everyone
old
thought,
smile.
yeah, big old smile, until Vance started rambling. And about like 45 minutes after Vance met you and, kept talking, they were pretty all right with walking away. But it was okay. He just, he had a lot to get out. He was a very, very life of the party kind of person. I mean, he was always playing music or singing or dancing or anything to draw attention. Not in like a bad way, just he was very rarely just sitting there. But yeah, growing up with Vance and Tyler and the Gutierrezes was a lot.
Why
That's
are,
what we
why are we at a baseball field?
Baseball was a big part of it. We all played baseball. Vance probably loved baseball a little more than us. Vance always wore this Texas Rangers hat. It was a red Texas Rangers hat with a white T on it, and it'd get all thrashed and gross, and he'd go get another one. It was almost always the same hat, but it wasn't. But like 4 months after Vance died, Texas Rangers won the World Series for the first time ever. And Vance missed that. But yeah, when I was thinking of places to record, baseball was the only thing that could pop in my head. I don't have any access to any of the places we all hung out when we were a lot younger at all. So this is the best thing we got.
Right on.
The baseball fields in Red Oak don't look nothing like it was when we were playing on those fields. So
Time,
there.
man.
yeah,
It's a thief.
it is. But yeah, baseball was a big part of it. It's so hot out here.
Ah, it's summertime.
It is summertime.
The living's easy.
Yeah. It is.
Okay, so you and Vance knew each other your whole lives.
Whole life. Tyler, we were kind of this little trio. Like, it was me and Tyler all the time, but when Vance was there, it was us three. We would like stay the night and hang. But yeah, I knew. Anyways, what I was getting at with that is Tyler didn't go to Red Oak. Me and Vance went to Red Oak.
Okay.
Tyler went to Midlothian. So at Red Oak, me and Vance were just cousins. That was it. Everyone in that was it. I was Vance's little cousin. Vance was my bigger cousin. Sometimes that wasn't. Sometimes we didn't know each other at all because you just didn't want each other's rip. I was a little kid. He was like, I don't know that dude. But man, this is really not going good again.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Cut it.
I don't like it. I don't
Cut
know
it,
what
we'll
to
do
talk
it again.
about.
Well, actually, let's talk about that. Let's talk about it being hard to talk about your people.
Yeah, it is hard to talk about your people.
Sometimes it is very difficult, especially when you're put on the spot. You know?
I've been thinking about this for like, I don't know, a week, and I still can't get certain things out. One of the memories I have of Vance a lot is he used to come over to our house a whole bunch when I moved out. I was the first one to move out of all my friends, Vance included. He lived up the road at his dad's house, but it was close enough for him to skate. Vance skated everywhere. If you saw a skinny kid on a skateboard in Red Oak, it was Vance.
I'm going to tell you this real quick. I remember when we were working on Vance's arrangements, and you do the slideshow and whatnot, and there was a video included of Tony Hawk wishing Vance a happy birthday, and
Yeah.
I thought that was the absolute coolest.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. But I mean, that kid was on a skateboard. He had cars here and there, but they never really lasted long. Or this one time in high school, he was in high school. I wasn't in high school yet. We used to go to this restaurant in Red Oak called Two Fat Mats every Friday. Me and my parents and my sister. And Vance worked there for a little bit. And we came in one Friday, and Vance's car wasn't there. And we were like, damn, Vance is off work. And sure enough, he was not. He was at work. And we were like, Vance, what happened to your car? He had wrecked it going like 8 miles an hour. He hit a fire hydrant and totaled the car.
Oh, no.
And the fire hydrant had like blown water up in it. I mean, it's genuinely a story that when I like think about it and tell it, I'm like, did that really happen? But where else did this come from in my head?
Yeah.
You know?
So that put him back on his skateboard.
back on a skateboard. Yeah, that kid, he was always on a skateboard. Skateboard with a guitar on his back. He'd skateboard everywhere, or he'd call me and ask for a ride. Most of the time, I gave him a ride. But he used to come over to our house all the time, and just sit on my couch upside down and play guitar. And his like, I mean, it got to the point where he messed up our blinds so bad, because his feet would just like dangle on the back of my couch while he was sitting upside down playing guitar. And I don't know, I just think about Vance sitting upside down playing guitar a lot, and that's like a weirdly great way to describe Vance if you knew him.
Well, even if you don't know him, like, I appreciate you saying things like that, because that, lets me know that Vance was kind of quirky.
Yeah,
You know,
quirky is a great.
kind of quirky.
Yeah, I would kind of. You ain't even gotta put kind in there. Vance was a good time all the time. He was he was either super happy or super not, and that was it. That's all Vance had. He was very rarely just sitting there.
So
hanging
full
out.
throttle either way.
Full throttle. That dude was all gas, no brakes. It was so much fun. But it did get to a point where me and my wife had decided to have a kid, and we were trying to get out of that neighborhood, and we stopped hanging out with a whole bunch of friends, and Vance was one of them, and we stopped partying the way we partied, and we were there for like a year and a half. We buckled down and saved every dollar we could. We wanted to buy a house.
Priorities changed.
Yeah. Which led to me then like intentionally separating myself from people, and Vance being one of them.
Watch your lay.
Dang. That's what happens when we do this on a truck
On the
bed.
tailgate.
We ain't got no room. And that's hard to think about now. It's hard to think about that I pull myself away from people that there wasn't any, he wasn't causing a negative impact on my life. It was just an environment that I wasn't around or didn't want to be in anymore.
Well, your priorities just change. As you get older, your life changes and you go different directions, but that doesn't mean that you love your people any less.
Yeah, for sure. And I know it took a weird, long way, and whoever's still watching, thanks for hanging out through the first 5 to 10 minutes of that. It took a weird way to get here, but that's really why I wanted to start with Vance with this mini series. Is the grief I have for the loss of Vance is a completely different kind of grief. I feel like I chose to lose him before he was even gone, because I took a step back, and that I shot myself in the foot and screwed myself out of time. And it had been 2 or 3 years by the time he passed since we last hung out, probably. And I think that's part of the hard part of telling these stories, is that the Vance that passed away, I didn't know very well. I talked to his mom recently this week, and that's kind of something she touched on briefly, that Vance grew a lot in that time. He grew up a lot. He was the dude that passed away working his ass off in California and going to try and do something isn't the same dude I tried to distance myself from.
But you also have to think about that Vance might not have been the same person if he also didn't go about his way.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he kind of distanced himself a little bit from some things, going off to California and everything.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up too much about that.
Well, it's hard, especially in the moment, because then, you're around all these grieving people, and like, in a way, you feel like you don't deserve to grieve the same way, you know?
Yeah,
Or
I
like,
get that, but that's not true though, right?
no, I know it's not, but it did take a lot of contemplation and thought for me to get there. But yeah, I mean, all these people that really cared about him until the fucking last day he was here. Not that I didn't care about him, but like the people that were in his life every single day, like I'm standing next to, like, should I be here right now? Like, I don't know. You just feel like you don't have like a right to grieve in the same way almost. And that's hard to deal with. It's a fucking weird place to be when you miss someone so much, but you didn't do shit about it 6 months ago, so why? So then you're kind of beating yourself up. Like, why do you care now? You know? I don't know. That's something I haven't gotten over. I don't think I ever will.
Well, it sounds like that's something you're still working through.
That is something I think I will always like carry with me in the memory of Vance. That might be the weird thing, is I don't even know what lesson I'm supposed to learn or what,
Do you ever talk to him about it?
No, I don't. No.
Is that weird to think about to you?
Yeah, I'm not super religious in the sense of I don't know about an afterlife or if anyone can hear me, but in times maybe I do.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless of if there is an afterlife or not, like what happens to us or what's out there, regardless of that, sometimes I have found it helpful just to speak into the ether.
You know what I do?
What?
He's buried here in Waxahachie.
Uh-huh.
And his mama put a bench out there.
Uh-huh.
I go sit on that bench a whole lot. And I bet the first 6 months I was out there 3 or 4 times a week. I go to Lodge right up the road.
Mm-hmm.
We get out of Lodge real late. I go up there about 11 o'clock and just sit on that bench for a little bit. Or if I was working nights, I'd go up there real late and go sit on that bench for a little bit. And I think this is a part of it's funny I'm talking about this, I think this is the part of the shame of the guilt of the grief that I have, was I would only go up there in the middle of the night when I knew Luke wouldn't be there, one of his best friends, or I knew his mama Michelle wouldn't be there. I'd only go up there real late when I knew no one was there. And this one time it was the middle of the day, and I was sitting over there, and I saw Michelle pull in the cemetery, and I kind of hurry up, got my stuff together, and pulled out. And it has nothing to do with not wanting to see his mom or something. It was just, again, I felt like I didn't have the right to grieve in the same way, or I don't know. I felt guilty for feeling sad that he wasn't here when I didn't take advantage of the fact that he was at one point, Yeah.
I'm glad you're talking about that.
Yeah. I think that's another part of why Vance is why we're doing this, is because of stuff like this is what I want to talk about when I talk about Vance. This is what I want to. Y'all can't see, but I'm tearing up. I got sunglasses on for a reason. This is why I wanted to do the podcast in general. Maybe not this specific reason, but it does feel good to talk about, and I do. I mean, we need to.
That's right.
And I can't afford therapy, but I could afford this little phone stand and half
Friends
of
are
these
free.
mics. Yeah.
Friends are free.
So is posting on YouTube. Which is kind of crazy.
Okay, so let's talk about your memorial tattoo.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so
They can't see it from here.
but okay, so I can see it. Tell us what it is.
All right, so Vance right here. Again, Vance was the oldest one. He was the black sheep of the family anyways. He was always little pothead and skateboarder dude, and he was like the only person in my life that listened to the same kind of music I listened to. I listened to very angry, angsty, like screamo music, mid 2000s, like pop punk and just emo-y, screaming into microphone. Warped Tour music is a great way to put it. Me and Vance went to Warped Tour together a couple times. Man, okay, back to the tattoo. So he's the first one with tattoos. He had a mustache on his finger. He used to, it was before it was like a trend. He did it when it was cool. And he had a broken skateboard as a heart right here. He had plenty of tattoos. He had the prodigal son across his chest. And then after he tattooed that, like, he couldn't keep a shirt on that kid because he just wanted to show his tattoos. Honestly, couldn't keep a shirt on him before then. But he had a broken skateboard right here. And so I reached out to Sally at Mansfield Tattoo and sent her a picture of his tattoo, and she had already tattooed me a couple times and kind of knows my style and what I like, and
so it's a play on that.
She drew up a play on his broken heart skateboard. It's got some pot leaves behind it because that was probably the number one activity we did together after we were a little grown up, not when we were kids or nothing. But it's also got flames it's a Sacred Heart skateboard.
Oh yeah, I see it.
He had a Catholic funeral.
Mm-hmm.
His family's Catholic, and that's it just kind of tied it all together. It's
a
really
beautiful
nice.
tattoo.
It's one of my favorite ones. Shout out to Sally. She's really good at putting my thoughts into images. It works out well. She's actually done a few memorial tattoos. We'll talk about her in other episodes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of back to the music thing. This shirt I'm wearing is a band that Vance showed me, and they only make death music. Not only, but they make a whole lot of death music.
What do you?
And now I can't listen to it.
When you say death music,
Death music.
what does that mean?
So the dude that started this band, his name's Esteban. His mom died a couple years ago. The whole first EP pretty much is about his mom's death. There's some songs in there about some other stuff, but for the most part, it's about grief. It's about the loss of his mom. He just put out another EP, and there's a couple grief songs on that. But Vance showed me this band, and now I can't listen to them without... Man, I've gone to 3 of their shows, and I'm like half expecting to see Vance there. You got anyone where you just go to a show in Dallas, and you just kind of know that they're going to be there anyway?
Yeah, different genres with different people, but
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Vance was it. If I was at a rock show in Dallas, Vance was probably there too. And I would we'd run into each other at some point.
Isn't that the best?
It is.
When you don't plan it and
Yeah.
you run into your homie at a show.
We spent a lot of summers at Warped Tour together. Those are hot days. Those are rough.
The summer festivals are hard in Texas.
But yeah, now I've been to quite a few shows where I walk in and like almost start looking around until I remember,
Yeah. How does that feel? Is it
empty? It feels like, again, he's the only person in my life that liked that kind of music, really, other than Chris, my wife. But yeah, he was the only outside person that like really listened to that music. And I mean, we sent each other music all the time, and it's just kind of crazy that he's not in a mosh pit if I'm at Dada's on a Wednesday. You know, he's not there. Um,
Maybe
yeah.
for Vance, heaven is a mosh pit.
Yeah, probably, dude. Probably either that or a skate park.
Skate park, mosh
Real
pit at a
good
skate park.
Yeah. Only good ones though, not that shitty one out in Midlothian.
Why you gonna say it like that?
Well, cause we hated that skate park. I think everyone hates that skate park. That's a terrible skate park. It's got to be so close to be so bad. Why? We grew up in Red Oak. I mean, it was Midlow or Arlington. That was it. And most of the time he was asking me to drive him out to Arlington.
Let's go skate.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you can talk about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. Going to the concerts thing, that's a crazy thing. Expecting someone to be there. I know. I've heard you mention that if you go to a Lucero show, like you always find Kelly.
I always find Kelly, and it always happens during Tears Don't Matter Much.
Yeah.
And then we jump around for a minute and do that, and then we part ways, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
It's
that
the
is every time you talk about that, I think about running into Vance anywhere. I mean, anywhere. I went to a show last December, and it was a band that I've seen with Vance multiple times. Well, not with Vance. Like, we didn't go together, but he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't. And that was super weird. That was very uncomfortable. I didn't even stay through that whole set. That wasn't the reason, but I just felt super uneasy and super sick in my stomach about a quarter of the way through, and I just left. And I don't think those things are related, but I was looking for him and expecting him to be there for a little bit. It's weird when you forget.
It is weird when you forget.
It is really weird when you forget for like, and then your brain like reminds yourself, and
then you have to go through that grief all over
for like
again.
In the middle of a concert, you're like, oh wow, Vance isn't gonna show up tonight, you know, and that's fucking crazy. And it really didn't matter what like phase of a relationship we were in, because me and Vance went through some weird ones. Well, I mean, it was
As
some
most
ups and
good
downs.
friends do.
There was yeah, I mean, we have spent a lot of nights hugging up on each other, being buddies, and we have fist fought a couple times. But that's just how it goes. At my graduation party, me and Vance got in a fight.
About what?
I don't remember what he said to his mama, but he called his mama I think he called her a bitch or something, and then I told him to stop, and he did it like to piss me off.
Yeah, out of spite.
Yeah, and then it was just like, it wasn't, I'm pretty sure I just threw him on the ground, and then it was like done. But yeah, me and Vance had some ups and downs in our relationship, and that's okay. But if we ran into each other at a concert, it was just like game on.
That's right.
Love that kid. He was always older than me. I don't know why he's a kid, but definitely miss him. I don't really know what else to talk about.
Vance,
Yeah.
may his memory be a blessing.